Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be talking about how to form Italy as the Two Sicilies. In my opinion, I think the Two Sicilies is probably one of the easiest out of all the Italian nations to form Italy with. I've done it quite a few times now, trying to test what the best way and what the quickest way to form Italy is. There's some things I've worked out and a certain method to doing it that by the time it's about 1846, you guys can form Italy in the game. And today's video is going to be talking through how you can form Italy and basically what you need to do, specifically as the Two Sicilies, that is, in order to be able to form Italy. So we're going to hop into a game real quick, and basically I'm going to show you what you do. So in order to form Italy as the Two Sicilies, you need to go to the culture tab. This goes for any like unification process, by the way. So if you're Prussia and you want to get Germany, and you don't know, and you've been trying to figure out how you unify your country, all you do is go to the culture tab, then you click on the national section here, and then it should say that you can unify your country. In our case it says Italy. We click on it, and then it'll show you all the states that obviously make up Italy, and the minimum amount of states required for you to have, like, I don't know, exert control over in order to unify. So in our case, we don't actually need every single state. For example, the Austrian occupied states of like Venice and stuff, we don't need that to form Italy. We can take that in a future war. So you can form Italy, but you don't need all of it. Essentially what you need is a minimum of 12 states in order to form Italy. So in our case, that basically means we need all of them apart from the the Emilia split, where it's got like Parma, Lucca, and the other one I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Moderna, that's it. So yeah, and the way you get these all to be green ticks, as you can see with our 5 states, is you basically need to get them to a point where they're like, yeah, okay, you're a nice country, we like you, we have no objections to unifying with you. So how do you do that? Well, basically you have to get them to like you. Plain and simple. There are plenty of ways of doing this. From what I've found, doing things like increasing your prestige, increasing your military power projection, obviously having trade agreements, having them in your customs union, having defensive pacts and alliances are all ways that you can improve your relationship, other than just, clicking the improve relationship button. But usually it takes more than just improving relationship. Usually you have to have something else, like trade agreements, like having them in your customs union or being in an alliance with them or something. So of course the first thing you can do straight off the bat is just improve your relations by clicking on the states that you need and boosting your relations with them. Of course, trading with these countries increases like your trade relationship, and then they'll be more likely to enter trade agreements with you, which means they're more likely to then enter your customs union. These are all ways that you can get these smaller Italian states to basically like you, and then get to a point where they want to reunify with you. But let's say that you're struggling with one particular state, as I was in this particular playthrough. I had the Papal States liked me, and Tuscany liked me, but Sardinia was being a bit stubborn. They didn't like me. So there's basically 2 ways that you can form Italy. Either you get all of, well, at least 12 in this case, the minimum amount of states required to like you. You click the button to form Italy in this case, and click your fingers, it's formed. Easy peasy, job done. Then all you have to do is just core the individual states, and it takes about 2 years to core all of the states. The second way is you do it through a diplomatic play. So like I said earlier, let's say that, for example, one of these particular states, in our case it was Sardinia, was being a bit of a pain in my ass, and they just didn't like me. What you can do is launch a diplomatic play, and just like any other diplomatic play, you can try and sway countries to come to your side and support your unification. Of course, if they back down, then great. You've just formed Italy with no bloodshed. Brilliant. If it does go into a war, of course, if you win the war, then of course Sardinia will capitulate, and yes, you can then form Italy because you'll have control of the states. Obviously, if you lose the war, you're probably not going to be in a very good position because, from what I've seen at least, they tend to demand quite high price. It's not just war reparations that they want usually, so they even you have to remember that sometimes the AI also is trying to unify Italy as well. So that's always something to bear in mind. But yeah, so obviously if you're going to go down the war path, try and get as many supporters as you can, improve relations with countries like Austria, France and stuff, particularly those two countries because they have borders with them, and obviously if they're fighting a two-front war, it's going to be far more difficult for them, and they're going to get overwhelmed by a far superior army. But of course, it's up to you what country you want to try and sway to your side. Perhaps you're in a multiplayer game, I don't know. But yeah, and then once you've won the war, which we did in this particular case, then boom, you've got control of the land. The other states should hopefully still like you. There is a potential that you may gain too much infamy, or you may destroy the relations that you've spent building. It is a risk, but as far as I've seen in my playthroughs, if you're quite quick to do it after the war, you should be okay, and the country should still like you because, you know, you've only done that one infamous thing. Whereas if you've perhaps been on a conquest beforehand, then it may be more difficult to keep those countries liking you if you then also go for Sardinia, because they'll be like, oh shit, you know, I feel a bit threatened by the Two Sicilies. But yeah, that is basically it in a nutshell. Of course, there are plenty of things to keep in mind, and plenty of different ways that you can get these countries to try and like you. But from my experience, if you focus on it straight off the bat, you try and keep your prestige high, keep your relations high, then you can usually form Italy by 1846, which is the quickest I've been able to do it so far, which is quite early on in the game, because considering historically it was formed in 1860, I believe. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this short video. I might do more of this kind of stuff because I've been kind of trying to get to grips with Vicky 3 and its mechanics, but I feel quite confident now in being able to play the game and have a basic idea of how it works. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, stick around, hopefully we'll be producing more videos. But yeah, if you have any comments, of course, let me know what you think, and yeah, other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.